Going Down Business with Aaron Kleiber. Yeah. Going Down Business with Aaron Kleiber. That's my dad.
Boom! I think I did it right that time. Look at that. We do it live. We do everything live. We do it live. We do it live. Boom! Welcome to Grown Dad Business. Look at that. If you're watching on video, I'm fixing my hoodie up. If you're watching on video, thanks so much. Boom! You're here, Grown Dad Business. Where if you're listening to audio everywhere, and if you're watching on video, did you know that you can listen on audio everywhere? You can take me and have a conversation and just listen to me. It's like me taking me on a ride with you, and I don't shut up because that's me. That's me. I don't know if you have a friend that has a story about everything and can't shut up. Hi, it's me. I'm that guy. It's me. I don't know if that tune will get me in trouble. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll ask my my co-pro do, Sir Sam. Boom. Is he here? There he is.
Let's rock.
Let's rock, dude. I was just asking, boom, Grown Dad Business. I was just asking Sam if he says any dad phrases like that, because that's Grown Dad Business. That's I would say that the dad phrases, were they, I don't know, do you think that's like boomers? And definitely boomers, but because we're Gen X. Yep. And I'm on the border. See, my theory, I think I told you, is I am Gen X and millennial because I grew up in the Rust Belt poor. I swear, that's my anthropological assessment.
Ooh. Well, and I think if you look at the time frame too, I think there's time frames. I'm securely in the Gen X, but just at the very end. And I think 81 is where it starts, where millennials start.
I agree. I think what it was is Star Wars. I say it's Star Wars 1977 through Return of the Jedi 1983. And I feel like when you're a little kid between, let's just even say 77 to 87, okay? That is the boom of entertainment, film, and movies. And I feel like any kids that had the opportunity to be raised by TV and movies, those are the kids that are in the Gen X.
That was the big uptick of sci-fi and fantasy type. You know, that's where it started taking off.
Yes.
And becoming more prevalent.
Yes. I think that, especially like, and I say this with like really like, this is my opinion, but like I think because you grow up poor and you don't I didn't have Nintendo until like 88, bro. Like I had people talking about it and I was like, oh, what? Like we didn't,
I had an Atari for a really long time.
Yeah. See, I didn't see Atari. I was too little for Atari. It was
a grandparent gift.
Dude, Star Wars. I you know what? That's a good frame too, is Star Wars to Nintendo, bro.
Yeah.
That's like what's that? Like 77 to 85. It's like,
what
were you doing?
About 10 years.
Hey, what were you up to? You know what I mean? It depends on, and also how trends hit. Like, you've got to think New York and California, and my cousins who grew up in Santa Cruz, California, and between Santa Cruz and Portland, Oregon, they were into surfing in the Goonies. You know what I mean? Like, and the Lost Boys. Like, my cousin was like, "Did you see the Lost Boys?" I was like, "What?" They're like, "It's a surfing vampire movie. It's amazing. It's a beach vampire movie." But yeah. Speaking of, that's what we're talking about. I had to talk about this. Did I not finish saying anything? I gotta.
Yes, the dad phrases.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Because I said let's rock, and another one that I say is, put some hustle in your bustle.
When we show up for Grown Dad Business, I like to be shot out of a cannon. So there's no chemical enhancements or dehancements when I come here, except I started drinking coffee again, dude. Bad news
Oh,
bears.
30
Hey,
ounces every day for me.
listen, what?
30 ounces every day for me.
30 ounces of coffee?
Oh yeah.
Bro, listen.
I get headaches if I don't drink it.
Okay,
That
but
tells you.
that's not good. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, everyone does something to like fix them up for the day. Really.
That's the
And I'll tell you
only
what,
amount of caffeine though that I drink is
right.
that coffee during the morning.
I will have I will pour chemicals into my blood and have a Diet Coke maybe a couple days a week, if we have like a burger or something for dinner, or like if we have like something like that, I need like a Diet Coke. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I stopped drinking soda about 4 years ago, and it was simply is because it's not because I hate it or anything. I absolutely love it, and if I drink it,
Yeah.
I drink a ton of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So I'd be 3 bills plus at least if I kept drinking it.
Yeah. See, I don't like regular. I can only drink diet soda, which is who knows what's good or bad. I have no idea.
Right.
Because every 2 years they're like, drink regular sugar, drink diet, and then they're like the regular sugar. I'm like, make up
You remember when
your minds.
eating eggs was bad, then it was good, then it was bad, then it was good. It's every few years they change their mind.
Well,
So
guess
who
what?
knows?
Guess what? I eat eggs every day. Superfood.
Yep.
It's the superfood.
And in
just
3
like,
months they'll say you're slowly killing yourself.
hey man, just eating embryos. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy, dude.
Pre-chicken.
Yeah, you ever think about telling your kids where eggs come from? That's a weird
No.
thing, right? Yeah, it's a weird thing. You think it's weird telling your kids like this is kind of a bit that I've done before, but it is. You think about it, explaining certain things to your kids, like this topic that we're going to talk about today. See how I do that, Sam?
I like that. Good segue.
But like, we talked last week about aliens and UFOs. Like, how do you talk to your kids about that? How do you talk to your kids about Bigfoot or the chupacabra? No, listen, I'm into this stuff. I like, it's called cryptids. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's it's the category of made up urban legendary creatures or whatever. Or urban
I just thought it was urban legends. That's all I've ever known it as.
The creatures are called cryptids.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, man.
The actual creature itself.
Yeah, like the group of creatures.
Gotcha.
Or whatever you would say is like Bigfoot and whatever. But I will say, I want to bring it local because I had a really fun time laughing about this a little bit on radio. And if you want to hear me do live radio every Monday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 a.m., you can stream live on the Odyssey app, Star 100.7, Bubba Show Pittsburgh. I'm on every Monday and I laugh with them. But we talked about this a little bit. Urban legends, like the things locally. When I said that to you, you were like, what did you say?
Gypsy Hill.
Gypsy Hill. I never even heard of that, and I love it. Because that's the stuff that people come, right? Like
yeah.
Because that's the stuff that people are like, you meet people around the country, and that's what I want to hear. People that are listeners and watchers, please comment. Tell me the local urban legend and where you're from. I want to know, because I want to tell you a couple of mine. I did them. Of course I did. Come on. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm into this stuff.
Well, and I can tell you, as manly and macho of a teenager as I was, going to Gypsy Hill in the middle of the night, which was the whole thing, is it was out in the middle of the country.
Hold on, bro.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, we can't dig into it. We don't got much time.
Let me finish this then.
Okay.
Going in the middle of the night, as manly and macho of a teenager as I was scared to death.
Yeah, dude. I like being scared, though. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun being scared.
Couple years off my life, big deal.
I feel like this is a one-up from haunted houses. Is like, they're like, let's go to a haunted school bus where you get your money back if you stay alive. And I'm like, no way, dude. Let's go to the haunted orphanage that burned down for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, let's do that.
Right.
And we did. I'll tell you. Let's take a pee break first. You got to, dude. You got to take a pee break. Boom. We did it. We're back.
I held my
Guys,
breath that whole
thanks
time.
so much. Hey, real quick shout out. Everyone on Patreon, thanks for supporting. You're still there. I love it. You get early episodes as early as possible. You get videos, bonus episodes, bonus stand-up comedy is coming, and comedy clips. I have some clips that are coming that no one has ever seen, jokes that no one's ever
Ooh.
heard that I'm going to share exclusively with Patreon. But also you get bonuses. We talk bonuses. Almost every episode we bonus. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And we talk about something fun, just like today. We're gonna have a little bonus. I got a couple tips. Let's talk
Survival guides.
What's that?
Survival guide.
No. Yeah, listen, if you're a parent, this is how you if you're a parent, this is how you survive a zombie apocalypse. You leave your wife and kids at home and you leave.
You run. Outrun
That's
them.
how you survive.
Outrun them.
Bro, listen, we are all dead. If there is a zombie apocalypse, we are going to be huddled in the family room watching a movie, being like, you know what? Listen, it's either all of us or them because I can't drag them with me, right? You can't, dude.
That's right.
You can't.
That's right.
I can't drag 3 kids in a zombie. Are you kidding me? Have you watched anything zombies? There are no kids. There's a Walking Dead Carl and Judith. That's bullshit. You are not taking care of no baby in the zombie apocalypse.
That's right.
No, you're not doing it.
No. They're the undead. They don't die. So it's not like you need to reproduce.
Right.
If you're a zombie.
That's a good point. Oh, yeah. We didn't finish the conversations real quick about when you came on, you said, let's rock and roll.
Let's rock.
Let's rock, dude. I've seen people post memes of that, and I'm like, I don't know. Do I say that stuff? I will say, let's rock. I don't think I say.
If you forget your keys, do you ever come back in and go, well, can't get very far without my keys?
No.
Yeah. I say that every time. I'm such a dad.
Yeah, I guess I have forgot stuff before, and I will have to walk in three times.
Yeah.
I will walk back in my house 3 times, and I think you'll just hear me just growling. Because guys, I don't know if you know, I got foot surgery this year, and it still is not super 100%. So like walking back and forth to the house makes me crazy. So I'm that guy too. I get it. But I don't say that stuff. I guess let's rock or time to rock and roll. That's all I got. Yeah. I feel like we need a list in front of us. Like I don't say like skedaddle. What is that? I don't say that. You say skedaddle?
I don't. I say hustle. Put some hustle in your bustle. That's about it. Other than that.
Oh, I just yell, let's go. I'm like, we're leaving. If you're staying here with the ghosts.
That's a teenager parent saying, let's go.
Oh yeah, that's all we're at now. We're just like it really is like you're a coach just trying to get them to like change lines and like
clapping. Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Come on, get over the boards. Let's go, boys. Let's go, kiddos. That's what it is. Boom. I don't know about you, but where did you grow up in the United States?
Northeast Indiana.
Northeast Indiana.
I call it the armpit because it's right up in the corner, right next to Michigan and Ohio.
It really is the armpit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That really is. That is the way station for Chicago and the rest of the West. And Ohio, they went too far in Ohio. Wow.
But yeah, it was in the northeast portion of Indiana.
But you know what? I think we definitely, from digging into like urban legends and things like that, I have been fascinated with this stuff. I had a graphic novel, I think, like way back it's one of the first graphic novels I think I ever found that had like urban legends in it. You know, it was the hook scraping on the roof.
Right.
It was
where they got I Know What You Did Last Summer from, basically.
Yeah, that stuff. It was the hook left on the car door or whatever. It's those kind of things. I've always been fascinated by that
Bloody
stuff.
Mary, the one where you say the name 3 times in a dark room,
which became Candyman.
Yep.
But dude, like I think too, I think we get maybe the region of America from, I would say, what you would call the Rust Belt is like what? Like almost, I would say, like Pittsburgh, Buffalo, that big kind of smile.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, Buffalo, through Ohio,
Into
and then
Indiana.
through Indiana and Detroit, and then maybe a little into up to Chicago, maybe. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
I'm right in the middle of that.
Yeah, and in Michigan a little. You might touch a little bit over in Wisconsin, but they got their own thing, you know? I
Yep.
think that I call that like this well, it's where I'm from, it's where like my alma mater, it's the Steel Valley. Like I feel
Yeah.
like that's like, from steel to tanks to cars to, everything in between. And it also, like we talk about food and stuff, it also draws stories from all those different nationalities that immigrated to America to work in industry here. So like you get all these like what Ant-Man, what's that guy say, the Baba Yago or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Something.
That's like that's like a Russian like Bloody Mary.
Mhm.
I think Baba Yago, right?
Well,
Something
you
like that.
think about where I grew up. I grew up in the Rust Belt, the Corn Belt, and Tornado Alley.
Dude, you did get a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
And
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 you
you got
think
football
Children of the
country.
Corn.
Oh yeah, Children of the Corn. That's like right near you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That town is like down the street.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I've
think
driven through
I
that
think I
through
know Malachi.
Malachi, dude. But I just love that everybody has these things. And then what I discovered, just chatting with a couple people about it. So my two, okay, I'll give you my two, and then I want to hear about Gypsy Hill.
Okay.
Uh, we had Green Man's Tunnel.
Ooh.
Now, Green Man's Tunnel, I don't know about anybody else, but when you say one of your urban legends in your area, do people in your town argue where it is?
No.
Okay.
Know exactly where Gypsy Hill
We
is.
have lots of tunnels and lots of bridges in the Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh area,
Yes,
but
which I'm
not
not
as
a
many
fan
as
of.
Philly. Weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird.
And every time you'll say like around our area, we'll be like Green Man's Tunnel. People are like, oh, it's over here. You're like, no, it's not. It's at this tunnel. And they're like, no, it's the tunnel north of the city. They're like, no, it's the tunnel out east. And you're like, what? And they're like, no, it's the tunnel down at South Park. And you're like, but we thought it was the tunnel right near us. And I will say, because you're like, okay, what makes Green Man's Tunnel? Okay, here's the thing. They said that this guy roamed down in the woods. It's like in a little hollow, down the hill, and Midwest friends.
Which those are all over the place in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
Hollows and tunnels.
Yeah, dude. And especially going down in a ravine and there's a tunnel or a bridge, and and there's a historical marker that George Washington crossed it, like
Right.
everywhere.
Right.
It's like General Braddock slept here with 10,000 British soldiers. You're like, what? Yeah, they're all over the Midwest. They're all over. If you live in this from like Massachusetts to like Ohio and Indiana, it'll be like, oh, this Civil War battle happened here, and you're like in a 7-Eleven in Indiana. You're like, what? That's what it is. That's the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be at a Kmart, and it'll be like
That's a
like,
dad thing too. You see one of those historical markers, you got to stop to read it.
yeah, dude, you're like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what they invented here? Huh?
I did not know that.
Barks root beer was invented right here in Liverpool, Ohio. It wasn't. I don't know if that's a fact, but you got to read all those historical signs as a dad. You do
have to.
And that's the thing. If
Dad
something like that happened, don't you think there'd be historical signs?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you think, like if there was like, I don't know, like something that terrible happened, because a lot of the ones they'll be like, oh, so what you do is you go in the tunnel and you beep 3 times and you turn it off, and there'll be handprints on your car. Or you beep 3 times and you put it in neutral and they'll push your car out of the tunnel. And so this one was, if you put your car in neutral and blink your lights like 3 times, the Green Man, and put on your blinkers, the green man will push you out of the tunnel, right?
Ooh.
So I went down there a handful of times, okay? But I will say the one time we went down, and you go down with like as teenagers, you go down with a couple guys, couple girls, group of friends, you're like, this is fun, And what's cool is what made this one tunnel Green Man's Tunnel, because there was all these different, like, people say, oh, well, it was a guy that got electrocuted and he glows green and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the most convincing story is why I thought our tunnel was the tunnel was because they said that a guy drowned because the tunnel, a creek ran through the side of the tunnel. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Yeah. So this tunnel I think on the left side, there's like it's open, but there's concrete. There's like a curb, but then it's just open rocks. And the stream, they let the stream like flow through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really cool. But what that stream does, you guys, you're picking up, if you're smart people, that stream, when it gets super hot and humid in the summertime, it grows algae all over the tunnel. So when it's hot and humid, it literally glows green. It's kind of pretty rad.
That is kind of cool.
So when we went down there, there's a big street light in front of the tunnel, and then there's a street light on the other end of the tunnel. There's no lights in this tunnel. And it's not a long tunnel. It's like maybe 50 yards, really. 100 yards, maybe. And when we went down there this time, it was glowing, dude. Like with the moonlight, and it was hot and humid, and you're like, oh, snap. And of course, nothing happens. But we get out, we run around, we leave the girls in the car. My one buddy's running through the creek, you know what I mean? Like in the tunnel. We're like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're definitely gonna get killed by a ghost, dude. You're like,
right. If there is one, you're dead.
I know, right? But there's no like historic marker that like a guy died there. Well, I guess they never do that. You know what I mean?
Well, people put those little crosses now, but
true, but nobody did that for the Green Man back in the day.
Right.
So, but I will say, it's funny because people will say like, "Oh, I did the Green Man's Tunnel with this other Green Man or whatever." But I feel like all over the country, especially in this Rust Belt, the Steel Valley or whatever, I feel like there's a lot of tunnel stories. A lot of train tunnel. A lady was hit by a train. A worker was out, and if you go in the tunnel and clap 3 times and spin around or whatever, it's always something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I did visit a place that had a marker.
Really?
Confirmation. Yeah.
Wow.
Now you're now Gypsy Hill. Now,
yes.
I don't know. By the way, just want a disclaimer. I don't know that term. I don't know if we're allowed to say that anymore, but you get it.
That was the name. That's the name of the place. I'm not.
I know. No. I know.
Derogatorily.
Yeah, Sam. Nobody's
anything.
taking you to the coals. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm just preemptively saying that we understand that that's something that people don't.
They're nomads, basically.
Right, and they also are from a certain, like, I think Romania.
Yeah.
Like, it was used as like people that were poor that like but hey, I mean, dude, if anything is a gypsy, I'm a gypsy. I am German and some sort of Eastern European, and I grew up a flea market kid selling wares on a blanket. So I'm a gypsy, baby. I'm a Rust Belt gypsy, and I think a lot of us are. A lot of us grew up trying to sell our baseball cards at flea markets. So I'm a Rust Belt gypsy. So, dude, what? Please.
Okay,
what
so
is
the story is there. It's in the middle of the woods, the countryside, and it's really close to Ohio, but right next to our town. And it's up on a hill, and you take it up there, and the urban legend is back in the day, with this group of gypsies made their home there for a while they were staying in the area.
Right. They camp. Right.
But they had
caravans.
But they did sacrifices. be it humans, animals, didn't matter. They would sacrifice,
Bad
do
gypsies.
sacrifices.
A
Yes,
little
they
more
were
than
not.
flea market gypsies.
Yes, they were not Rust Belt gypsies.
Whoa.
But they and the rumor was is if you went up there during the night, you would see the ghosts of the gypsies doing their thing. And so it was and it was it's such an eerie place to drive through even during the day because
Right.
people, kids go down there and do random stuff.
Plus, what makes it creepy too is it was this old like campground.
Yeah.
Like that a bunch of people squatted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, there are places like that I've heard people explain throughout the country too, like this, where it's like old tent cities.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, oh no, in the 80s, this used to be like literally people would be like, this is Cracky Hill. Like,
Yeah.
there'd be neighborhoods where you're like, you don't want to go up behind the basketball courts up on that hill. We had where we grew up where for a while it was called the Knob. Yeah. Where we grew up, people listening, holler at your boy, Homestead Mount Hall Proj, you know what I'm talking about. But then once you got older, you went and drank up there. But then like people were like, oh, there's Satanists that go up there and burn effigies, and you're like, what? And then you go up there and you're like, oh, it's just natty ice and bad weed.
Yeah. Well, and another thing along with Gypsy Hill, since after that whole thing, then there was a group of Satanists that went up there and did sacrifices because it kind of went with the theme of what Gypsy Hill was. So you'd go through in the middle of the day and you'd see like the pentagrams on the trees and stuff.
Hey,
made it even more eerie.
Hey, leave it to the Satanists to always clean up the last spot for whatever whatever happened to goats. I don't know. My only knowledge of that is watching the Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks Dragnet movie. So
Dragnet. Yep.
The snake in the pit, dude.
That's right.
See, that's interesting because that, like I said, I have heard where it's like where people have like campgrounds or things like, or even displaced people, it's like, because, you'd think that, okay, let's just think realistically that like, yeah, sometimes places like that are super peaceful. And sometimes places like that are volatile and, people get hurt and, and throughout every single decade, there's always a tent city or a, it's weird, man. And I've heard those stories. They're like, oh, this is Heroin Hill. You go out, it's the ghosts of the ad. You're like, what?
If you just go up there and breathe in the air.
Oh, there was something like that. It was like if they cleaned up the park and it used to be like a Heroin Hill or something. And if you walk around at night in the mulch at the park, it sounds like needles crunching beneath you. And I'm like, that sticks. Okay.
Yeah,
that was
mulch.
A stick.
That's what mulch does is cracks.
Yeah, that's funny. Let me hit you with the real one. This is all right. Before we get out of here, and I'll tell you the last one, and then I'll see you guys on Patreon. Boom, holler at your boy. GrownDadShirts.com. Listen, they are going to be gone at the end of the year. I'm working on new designs for 2024. GrownDadShirts.com. You can get Be Kind, Be Funny in any color. You can also get hoodies.
Puce.
The design is changing. I just had somebody order a bunch of hoodies for Christmas, and they said, are your hoodies going to be gone? I says, if it's this logo, Be Kind, Be Funny, this one is going to be gone. So get the hoodies now. Someone just ordered some hoodies. Also, the Jesus crossover and the devil will be gone. I'm doing new ones. I can't wait. I got some fun new ones. It'll be a blast. GrownDadShirts.com. Yeah, you're the best. Thanks. And you can also always join Patreon. I already told you guys that. Okay. There was this one growing up that they always, I mentioned it's in, it's in the title. But it wasn't bendy. It wasn't bendy orphanages or 13 bendy Mothmen or whatever. It was 13 Bens. It was apparently there was an orphanage that burnt down, and you'd have to go up this road that was 13 bends, and you're supposed to stop at every bend and like say something like tell the kids that you're coming up the hill at every bend, or you beep or something, or you know. So you get up to the top, and there's supposed to be a plaque for a burnt down orphanage where all these kids were killed. And if you turn your car around and point down the hill, and you're supposed to put baby powder on your car, the kids will push your car down the hill, and there'll be handprints on your trunk.
They'll push them down the hill. Doesn't a car go downhill if it's in neutral anyways?
Or whatever. It'll push it uphill. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm trying to also fill in the blanks.
I'm killing the urban legend.
Yeah, dude. I'm filling in the blanks with frog DNA. Okay. So deep cut. Who gets that one? So, but it was something like that. It was like you park at the top of the hill, or you park on the 13th bend, or something like that, and they'll like push you up, or something like that, right?
They'll finish the trip for you.
Something, or they push you out. I don't know. Well, it turns out you can't drive up anything. Okay. But I had a friend that was where it was supposedly at. I had a friend who lived out there back in high school, and they were like, "Oh, you got to come check out the 13 bends." Well, they knew that you couldn't drive up the thing because there was like a fence. There was like a fence. Like it was like an old, it's like an old road that just like literally has a municipal fence just over it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it used to be like old park property or something like that, right? So that already, we're like, oh, okay. And we went kind of early. It was not nighttime. We went at like, it was still light out. It must have been like 6 o'clock at night or something. And because it was like dusk, because it was dark by the time we almost got back to the car. So it must have been dinner time. So, or no, we went in the summer. So it was definitely much later. So my friend's like, but I know how to get up to the memorial. And I was like, there's a thing? He goes, oh, no, there's a thing, dude. I'm like, all right. But you got to go on this hiking trail. It's like this park has a hiking trail, and then you just go off into the woods. And he's like, we have to go around. So we hiked, we hiked, and then you go through a fence. You have to go through a fence, and it's like, whatever. It's, it's like state park property or whatever, municipal property, and we go up, and sure enough, there's an old foundation, and it looks like an old school almost, or like a little old church or something, but it's kind of big enough. You would say it's like, like an old school.
Right.
And there's a memorial, and it says like 1913 orphanage fire. And I was like, holy this is real. But there was not 13 bends. It's like a windy like road to like, feels like you're going to a pavilion in a park. It's not 13 bends. It's like 2, and it wasn't as you could kind of get to it a little bit, but we did have to like crawl. We went under the fence. We like pulled it up and crawled under. Admitting to more crimes on my podcast. Tune in next week for more. Aaron admits to old crimes. That's this whole podcast.
That's right.
Yeah. So my experience with that is I did get a real one. I did find a real one. That was kind of neat. I guess now I could Google it, huh?
Yeah, probably. You probably could. It exists now. Because
now they have like foundations and things, right? That they're like, oh, we have the historical society that makes sure that this site is preserved. And, there's probably somebody that volunteered to like clean up the monument. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's interesting. And I think that that would be a fun thing besides a haunted house. I almost want to do that with my kids.
You'd rather do that than a haunted house?
Yeah. I mean, because my kids, I don't think are into haunted houses. My little one might be. My little one is going to be Beetlejuice for Halloween. So she's 7. She wants to be Beetlejuice. Don't judge me, okay?
Beautiful though. Come on.
We tried. The other 2, they're great. But yeah, I think that would be like, oh, tell them an urban legend, and that might scar them for life, actually. But then again, there's parents who are like, my friends are watching Freddy, or my kids are watching, Freddy Krueger, and my kids' friends, they're They're like, they're watching Freddy Krueger. I'm like, what the what? What are you, crazy?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
I don't even watch that.
I want to hear everybody's urban legends. I want to hear where they are, because I'll put them on a map when I go do stand up. Not only do I visit movie locations, I'll go visit urban legend locations. That'll be awesome. So
yeah, fun
boom.
side trips for your day.
Yeah, dude. Little dad trips. Little dad trips when I'm on the road.
That's right.
Boom. Sam, you're the best. Thanks
Appreciate
so much
you.
for hanging as always. The Co-Pro. You can check out Sam and his dudes on his podcast, the 500 Section Lounge. He has great guests.
We had
Unlike
the
this,
mayor of Uranus this week.
The mayor of Uranus. You son of a bitch. Don't you dare. My wife is the mayor of Uranus. Thank you. So
I've never met her.
Good point. You guys are the best. We'll see you on Patreon. I got something.
Sir.
We're going to talk something real quick on Patreon. It'll be fun. Come on. You're the best. Let's get out of here.
Bye-bye.
Be kind, be